What is going on, good people of YouTube? It is me, Chavez, and I am back with another Player Prop Talk live stream here on the channel. As always, I hope this finds you doing well and in good spirits. Hopefully your Monday was a profitable one. Hopefully you are ready to roll for today. We got Taco Tuesday, quite a few promos over on Better Fantasy. We'll get to those in a second. We can recap our plays from yesterday, or our slips from yesterday. 2 out of 3 did hit. So, man, very close to a full sweep. We'll get into that in a second. But as always, I hope this finds you well. I hope your morning's off to a good start. We're just going to get into it. Appreciate y'all being here. Make sure you hit the like button on your way in because it means a ton and it helps the channel reach new viewers and grow every single day. We start off with hashtag blessed. As always, you know, tons of people die in their sleep. They don't make it to the next day. So if you hear this, you see this, you are not one of those people. So consider yourself blessed. Not too many things are better than waking up. I guess you can say that, but maybe if you woke up and played on Better, that would be better. Better Fantasy. That's my QR code. Scan it. Get a first time deposit match up to $250. Better's got some nice promos going on today. So if you aren't playing on Better, today's a good day to give it a shot. Not only will you get a deposit match up to $250, but you will also get access to these promos. $20 max, 4 promos. So you can play $5 on each promo. You obviously can't just play these alone. You got to pair them up with at least another player from a different team. But $20 max. You can put all 20 on one play if you want. You can spread the wealth. You want to dig into the research and figure out which promos are better, because not all promos are created equal. You can do that. We can do that together today. We can do that using one of our resources that we promote here in the channel. So Better Fantasy, good day to get going on Better. Sign up, use that QR code. We're going to be using the OddsJam Fantasy Optimizer to locate value across the industry today. This is what we use to help us build slips. And we'll also be using props.cash as well. So we can use props.cash to actually dig into those promos to see which one is the better one. Maybe they're all better ones, and maybe we just play 4 different slips. Maybe we like one over the other and we put all 20 bucks. So up to you how you want to construct your lineups. But speaking of lineups, we can go over our 2-3 slips that we had in the Discord yesterday. Gave out 3 slips, 1 on Better, 1 on PrizePicks, and 1 on Underdog. If you're new to the stream, I appreciate you being here. We'll get into building slips in just a few minutes here. But I do want to share our slips from yesterday. So posted these winning slips this morning. This Underdog slip that we played, we were 1 play away from a 30x. Due to the combination of plays, this was actually boosted to a 30x, not a 25x. So we were 1 esports play away from 30x in that slip. Walked away with a 2.6, 2.7 payout on that one. And then the Better slip that we posted in the chat, built this on the stream yesterday. We had Paxton. Boy, Paxton waited to the very last inning he was in to get that 4th strikeout. I mean, he was sitting on 3 for a long time. Carlos Santana over 0.5 strikeouts. Corey Jolks over his hits. And Seager, we talked about Seager's numbers yesterday against Hunter Brown. I don't think he hit his home run or his RBI winning double or whatever he hit. I don't know if that was against Hunter Brown, but it doesn't matter. We liked the play. We played it. It worked out. Castro was the only play that didn't work out. So again, very close to I think this was a 10x over on Better. So Better bucks don't equal full payouts. As you can see, it is a 1.5x. This should have been a 2x if it were actual cash. So that is a Better's way of ensuring that they're still getting a little bit more of your money. It's a business. It's a business. They got to run it. So if you're playing with Better bucks, just know that your payouts are going to be a little reduced, but it's It's free, and you can always turn those better bucks into actual cash, and then it's real money. So that's the benefit of that. So those are our 2 slips that did hit. Our PrizePicks slip unfortunately did not come through for us yesterday. A little disappointing there, but 2 out of 3 made profit yesterday. Got the week going on the winning note. All right, let's get this going. 907. We're going to pop on over to the Odds Jam Fantasy Optimizer. We'll pull up PrizePicks, and then we'll see what's on the board. I've posted 3 slips in the Discord, 1 on each pick'em site that we talk about: PrizePicks, Underdog, and BETR. We can dig into any player prop you want, any pick'em site that you see here on the screen. Just throw it in the chat. Throw your questions, your player prop inquiries in the chat, and we'll get to it when we can. Over on PrizePicks, value is on the board. Framber under fantasy score, Castillo under fantasy score, Ramirez under fantasy score, Lugo under fantasy score. Lugo I'm staying away from. This guy just seems to find a way, and I really don't feel like having that mess this day. So just gonna skip over Lugo. You can play the under on his fantasy score if you wish. You got 2 data points that like the under, so you can go at it if you want. I'm just gonna stay away from it. Pablo Lopez under his fantasy score as well. Then we got our first esports play. Over 14, first 2 map headshots. Juan Soto under his walk, wow, I'm all over the place. Juan Soto under hitter fantasy score, but the over on his walks, I don't know where I saw that, but it's on the board somewhere. That one is playable. Let's go over to Underdog and see what we got going on. Underdog is usually the one where we see the most value. PrizePicks, usually in the afternoon, you'll see a little bit more value on the board. But here we go. Underdog Fantasy is going to flood the market with tons of esports plays, as you can see. Getting into our gold plays, and then lastly getting into some of those red plays. So let's check out some of these esport plays. Let's see what's on the board. There's Framber again, under fantasy score. A lot of 1 data point plays. Over LeBron James, 14.5 points. This one has bumped down. It was at 15.5 leading up to this game versus Brazil. But now that have it at over 14.5, I think that's a good play. Over 14.5 points for LeBron James. There's Castillo under his fantasy score. Anytime you see a play that's on multiple pick'em sites, the same line, same result, unders on these fantasy scores, it's worth paying attention to. I'm not saying you have to play it, but it's on different sites for a reason. It's that good of a play. All right, Joel Embiid under 15.5 points and rebounds. Yeah, man, this isn't the Eastern Conference, okay? Embiid is struggling in the Olympics for the most part. He did have a bounce back game in a previous game, but for the most part, his numbers have been pretty underwhelming. He ain't playing against the Wizards and shit, so that one is worth taking a look at. All right, what about BETR? BETR typically won't offer a ton of green value. The green plays are the most optimal because they have the highest % chance to hit, but you can still look for plays with a ton of data points and go with those. So for instance, the very first play that we have is Nemo over bases. Barely missing out on being a plus EV play, but you got over 7 books, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books that like the over on this one. It's worth a shot. Renfro, only 4 data points, but here we go. Pete Alonso. So it looks like the Mets are in a good spot today versus Colorado. You got 2 of the top 3 plays on the board coming from this Mets team. both overs on bases. Here's Vladdy over strikeouts today. Dylan Cease. So we got a lot to work with here. I think we can do maybe 2 slips today, maybe 3 plays or 3 slips, depending on the value that opens up. We do have Taco Tuesday on PrizePicks, so we can also incorporate that into a slip, but we're not going to wait around for Taco Tuesday. Let's get after it. What's going on, T? Morning to you. Man, we're so close to the PrizePicks hit. Speaking of which, let me go ahead and pull up PrizePicks. Our PrizePicks slip. Here's what we had yesterday. We talked about that demon play on the on the slip. A couple of demons in there. I think this was the one we talked about. So this is the I want to say it was this play. We have Karin Kachanov. Karin Kachanov hasn't played yet. That's today. That's the only play left, man. But look how close we were on this demon play here. This is our original slip. I'm sorry. So we had Paxton and Brady Singer not give up a first inning run, which was surprising. We had a hit on the esports, hit on Otani, and then Palante really just stunk it up. Finished the game with just 2 strikeouts. So that one did not fare well. If Kachanov hits today, that's a 4 out of 6. It is only a $2. It is only a $2 win, which is not a win. That's not profit. If you put $5 on a play and you only get 2 back, you just gave PrizePicks $3. So if you're hitting 4 out of 6, that's not a win for you. I know it says win, but you're not earning money on that. You're walking away with less money. So that's not a win for us, but it's better than going a total loss. Here's the demon slip that we almost hit. So we need Kevin Durant to finish under 20 PRA. In the Discord I shared yesterday afternoon, you were able to get Kevin Durant's PRA at 21.5 on underdog. That's where you wanted to play it, but 20.5 is your next best line. We got a hit on the esports. We had hit on Paxton. We had Jarren Duran come through with the double. We talked about his numbers versus Singer. And then Yordan Alvarez, this dude is dead to me. I continue to stress how old the Astros look this season, how these bats have not been there all year long. And this is one of the dudes who has not done a whole lot. Honestly, numbers are down. I'm not sure if he's hurt. But yeah, I'm just going to stop taking the overs on his shit, to be honest with you. And if he ends up hitting a prop, I don't care. There are way too many plays out there to worry about that one. But he honestly didn't do anything yesterday. Another 0 for 3, 0 for 4 game. He didn't do anything, just non-existent. Logan Webb goes over by 0.5. He hits a 32 on his pitcher fantasy score, and we needed him to finish with 31. So it was pretty close. Had Logan Webb finished under, had he been pulled 1 out sooner, because I think he finished with 5.2 innings, which is 17 pitching outs. Had he finished with 16, this would have hit. That's how close these are. So even if Logan Webb would have gotten the under, and let's say Durant finishes under, this one would have been a nice 9.5x on our entry. But instead, here we are again, hoping for another $2 hit. So that's how close these entries can be. They're always 1 play, 2 plays away. As long as we keep making good plays and making the EV plays, they're gonna hit for us. They're hitting for us on underdog. They're hitting for us on better. We just need them to start hitting for us on PrizePicks. So if you tell that slip, you were very close. I was very close. What's going on, JR? Yeah, man. Screw Yordan. Man, fuck that guy. Go back to chasing Gunner. Gunner's got a nice promo on BETR, over 0.5 total bases. I don't know if you've seen that, JR. I don't know if you play on BETR or not, but he's up there at a discount today. Good play. I think it's a good play. All right. Let's do this. I guess we'll build out a slip on PrizePicks first, since we have PrizePicks board pulled up. I have this Jack Draper under total games. That one has been available for a while. I think it's been available for over 24 hours. Surprising to see plays up that long and not have a line shift. So if you can play that one, it's a good start to your slip. Let's see. Not a lot. All right. All right. If you're watching this, you're new to the stream, welcome. We're using the OddsJam Fantasy Optimizer right now. That's what you see on the screen. Basically, this is going to show us where the best value is, how many books support the play, and from there we make a decision. It's not a magic 8-ball. It's not going to tell you, it's not always going to tell you what you want to hear. You may have a certain take on a player and the books see it differently. At the end of the day, we're all in charge of our own decisions, right? So there have been many times where a play on the optimizer is green and I'm not going to play it, and it works, and sometimes it doesn't. But there are too many plays. There are too many ways to build slips to get caught up on just one person, one player. So we just move on. Out of these 5-6 plays that are popping on the optimizer, first of all, you can literally just throw all 6 of these in a 6-pick. It's going to grade out really well. It's going to grade out really plus EV. In fact, let me just show you what that would look like if we just rolled with these 6 in a slip. If you go to build out a slip on OddsJam and you just select the plays you want, it'll pull up in a sidebar. It should pull up in a sidebar any day now. All the plays that you have, it'll show you what your percent chance to hit is, and then it'll show you, there it is. It'll show you what your EV is. So if we were to wager $100 on these 6 plays, we got a 5% chance to hit with a 6.21% plus EV. All of these plays have tons of data points. 3 data points for all these pitcher fantasy scores, 2 data points for Jose Ramirez hitter fantasy score. So you could do worse, if you're not a fan of the pitcher fantasy scores, then we just keep looking. But as far as just plus EV plays that are on the board for a reason, these look good. So you can literally just start off building that slip. A cool feature on OddsJam is if you just click the bet, it'll pull up another window, whatever window, browser, Chrome, Safari, whatever, but it'll already have the slip. So assuming that you have a PrizePicks account and you're logged into it, when you hit that bet option, it'll take you to the PrizePicks page and it'll just pull up the slip that you have. So you do not have to bounce back and forth between PrizePicks and and do it one at a time. It's already here. So literally we can just roll with this one and put that in a slip if we want to. Underdog, you do have to go back and forth. Underdog, the 2 platforms don't speak to each other right now. Hopefully that changes. That's a super convenient way of just putting in a slip. And the quicker you can put in your slip, the faster you lock in that value. All right. So again, you have these 6 options. I might just track this one just to see how it fared. Going all fantasy scores in a slip feels a little weird, but you just play the best value. Rafael Devers over hits, runs, RBIs. What's up, Jesus? How are you? Jake Berger over hits, runs, and RBIs, and then Devers over his hits, runs, and RBIs. Let's see what we got. All right, we have Berger and Devers. Some of these Olympic basketball props are really fun to play, especially the ones that are tipping off at 4 a.m., U.S. time. Because as soon as you wake up, you got results. You don't have to wait. So if you played, I think it was the Greece. Was it Greece? It wasn't Greece and it wasn't Canada. Who was it? Germany? One of the games tipped off at 4 o'clock in the morning. So when I woke up, I already saw my slip. So a few of those plays were already finished. That's kind of cool. All right. So Jake Berger over hits, runs, and RBIs. We'll research that one. And then we'll look at Devers. If I can spell his name right. All right. I'm gonna have to X out some of these tabs. I think I have way too much up on the board. All right, Devers and Devers and Burgers. Devers Burgers. All right, we're gonna head over to props.cash, and we're just gonna use some of the resources on props.cash to dig into these real quick and see if these are good plays. Yeah, I don't know if they're considered plus EV plays. I haven't seen their lines on any optimizing or optimizer lines, but we can create our own narrative here. So Miami and Cincinnati. Boy, Cincinnati put it on that ass yesterday. De La Cruz, 2 home runs, 40 fantasy points. Munoz got rocked. Rotary Munoz got absolutely rocked yesterday. Who are we looking for? Berger doesn't play for Miami. Yes, he does. He used to play for the White Sox, so I thought maybe I had the wrong team. All right, so up until the last 2 games, Berger was on another level. He is projected for 2.15 hits, runs, and RBIs. He has 2 books that like the over. He has no sample size against Nick Lodolo. So only 2 batters in this lineup currently to have positive batting averages against Lodolo are Jesus Sanchez and Jonah Bride. Looks like everybody was just in for one game. Like Lodolo only pitched a couple innings against them at some point. Doesn't look like he went too deep. But against lefties, Berger is batting 200. He is bringing in a 22% strikeout rate with just a 6% walk rate. Numbers against lefties on the year, power is way down. Only 3 homers, 5 doubles, and 13 singles in 114 plate appearances. So he's got a low batting average, and when he's hitting the ball, there's no power there. Lodolo versus right-handed bats is only allowing a 222 batting average. Now, all his homers have come against right-handed bats. So he is giving up power to right-handed bats. It doesn't mean that he gives up a home run to Jake Berger. I think if you wanted to attack Lodolo, you just look for a right-handed bat in the lineup that has more power than Berger, or that hits for more power versus left-handed pitching. I don't know who that person is right off the bat. I mean, maybe someone like, let's look at Jesus Sanchez. Jesus Sanchez against left-handed bats. Man, he's batting. This is a lefty-lefty matchup. We definitely don't want that matchup. That's terrible. Jonah Bride and Jesus Sanchez are the only two bats in this lineup that have positive batting averages against Lodolo. Man, these guys don't hit lefties well at all. There's not a whole. Miami sucks. Okay, Miami sucks. I mean, we're fishing for value on Miami. So, I mean, we're in shallow water here. I'm not gonna go through the whole Miami lineup here. We can spend our time on something else. If you want to roll with the over on Jake Burger's hits, runs, and RBIs, you do have two data points that like the over on this one. You have a solid projection going over with 2.15, and then if you want to just look at his home and away splits. That's what he's done at home over his last 10. He's 0 for 5 in his last 5 games. On the road, 4 out of 5, and then 8 out of 10. So I know we have two books that like the over, but a lot of these numbers don't really favor him having a strong game today. On the flip side, if you want to take a look at Lodolo, because a lot of these batters don't seem to be in a good spot. He's projected for 6 strikeouts. He's projected also to go at least 17 innings. If he can get you 18 innings, that's a full 6 innings. That's 18 points plus 18 points. That's 36. He is projected to give up quite a few runs. I mean, minus 175. If this guy gives up 3 earned runs, he's still up for that quality start bonus. So 38 minus 9 is 29. Plus the quality start bonus is 33. And they happen to get the win. That's 39 points. So he has, I think, a max or a ceiling of about 39, 40 fantasy points. And then he has a floor of maybe 33. Maybe look to his fantasy score as an over against this awful Miami team. Miami currently is striking out at a 22% rate versus lefties. So, you know, maybe you look at Lodolo on the other side. All right. Devers was the other play. Let's pull up Boston and Kansas City. That game got off to a really slow start, and then it picked up. It wasn't it like 6-2 or 7-2 or I don't know. The runs started coming in a little later in the game. The first few innings were pretty boring. So let's take a look at Rafael Devers. And this game is away. So last 10 away games for Devers has seen him hit this in 60% of his games and 100% of his last 5 games. So despite him, I don't believe he went over fantasy score yesterday, but he did go over hits, runs, and RBIs. And he did go over total bases. So today we're looking at his hits, runs, and RBIs. 2 books that do like the over: BetMGM, DraftKings. Better odds here: minus 135, minus 125. Numbers against Seth Lugo: 1 homer, 1 RBI, 1 single. So 2 hits in 3 plate appearances for Rafael Devers. Pretty strong. Outside of Lugo, Rafael Devers does hit righties pretty well. 339 batting average, only a 17% strikeout rate on the year, 21 home runs, 21 doubles. A lot of power, a lot of extra base hits here. On the flip side, lefties versus Lugo, batting at a 238 clip. Lugo's doing a really good job of not giving up a ton of runs. He may give up a lot of hits, or he may just give up hits, but I mean, he's not getting blown up, right? I mean, 12 home runs in almost 600 plate appearances. It's pretty strong. I like the Devers play more than the Burger play, no doubt. If we're just looking at hits, runs, and RBIs. 500 batting average. All right. So that one looked good. All right, what else we got? Let's see. All right. Let's refresh the optimizer, and then we'll see if we can build out a quick slip on PrizePicks, and let's see if we can get an underdog slip in here. Appreciate y'all being here on this glorious Tuesday morning. All right, so I got a new play up here. We got Horner under his hits, runs, and RBIs. only 3 data points, but man, look at these odds, man. Minus 160, minus 155, minus 150. Oof. It's a lot of juice to the under here. After that, it all kind of looks the same. Got a couple of nerfies in here. Under first inning total runs for the A's and Sox, and then under for the Nationals and Giants. So got a couple of first inning run plays here. All right, I'm not opposed to putting in some. You know what? If I had to choose a pitcher fantasy score to go under on, I think Framber Valdez stands out to me. We've talked a lot about Framber this season. Now, Framber has been racking up the strikeouts. In fact, I mean, he's racking up so many strikeouts that it compensates for the amount of runs he's given up. So in these games, he's allowing 4, 3, 6, 5. And in those games also, he's getting you 7, 10, 8 strikeouts. So his fantasy score could be through the roof if he were able to keep those runs down. But unfortunately, he's getting waxed. So pitching, striking out 9 batters, minus 15 points because you gave up 5 earned runs doesn't look as good. So that's kind of what we're hoping for here. If we're looking at the under on his fantasy score, Framber also typically doesn't go super deep into games. I mean, there are some games where he's gotten you 7 innings, but I mean, he's kind of teetering on that 6 inning line or less. So for this game against the Rangers, his average is 17 innings. Almost 18 outs. So that's 6 innings. That's 18 points. If he goes out there and gives you 6, that's 18 plus 18, that's 36, right? Now, if he goes out and gives up 2 earned runs, that's 30 fantasy points. With the quality start bonus, that's 34 fantasy points. That's not a win. He's not even getting credit for the win at this point. Framber would have to go out and give up another earned run. I don't really like this one, to be honest with you. Yeah, he would have to give up 3 earned runs in order to stay under that fantasy line of 31. When we were getting it at 37, 38, that's a little too high. Now books are starting to wise up and they're dropping his fantasy score. So maybe not Framber. Maybe not Framber. I mean, he's probably going to finish with 32 on the dot. I feel like these fantasy scores are really tight. You know, they're really tight. It's too much wiggle room with the fantasy scores. He would have to get waxed. Like, he would have to get waxed, give up 5 earned runs, and get pulled early. Because if he stays in, he's just going to keep racking up points. Very low scoring game yesterday. I mean, compared to what these teams can do at the plate, very low scoring game. So if we're looking at another low scoring game, not a whole lot of runs being given up, that actually helps out Framber's pitcher fantasy score here. Castillo under versus Detroit. That's a huge line at 38. We're getting 3 books that like the under on this one. I got to be honest with you. I really just don't like a lot on PrizePicks. I've been saying this for like the last month. PrizePicks in the morning just does not offer a ton of value. It's a little disappointing, being that they're the most popular pick'em site out there. They just don't have they're just not giving the members a good experience with these plays. So I'm just going to move on to underdog. I'm not going to force anything in on PrizePicks. Maybe something to open up later today. All right, let's see here. Here's another Framber play. We're seeing some of the same plays on underdog that we're seeing on PrizePicks. Wow. Maybe I don't do a live stream on Tuesdays because this seems to be the thing every Tuesday. I feel like with the promos, there just doesn't seem to be a whole lot to work with. I know there are a lot of plays on the board, but a lot of these are just a little iffy because of just single data point. You can take a shot on some of these plays, but it's your money. All right, let's see if we can build out a slip on better that we feel good about. All right. Renfro under, O'Hearn over. If you want to play that Gunnar Henderson promo, you cannot play this O'Hearn in the same lineup. It's too much correlation. So if we can find an under on one of the Baltimore bats, that would be fine. They'll let you put that in a slip. So we got Hunter. We got an under on Brian Reynolds. Dylan Cease under 4.5 hits. That is a lot of support coming through on that one. A lot of unders also. Just a lot of unders over on better. A Rosarena over his hits, runs, and RBIs. If you want to build out a slip with all overs, be my guest. I'll show you some of these overs. Over Vladdy strikeouts, over 4.5 hits for Sonny Gray. Over hits, runs, and RBIs for Randy. Over O'Hearn. But if you're just looking for the best value in terms of data points, then you're going to have to play some unders in here. All right, so let's see here. I'm going to build out this slip on better on the mobile app because it's just easier, and then I'll share that in the chat. I have already used the Gunnar promo. I can use it again, but we got Jose Ramirez over total bases. You have Austin Riley over total bases, and then you have Chris Sanchez over 3.5 strikeouts. Those are the three left. Put in the chat which one you want in the slip, and then we'll start off with that, and then we'll build around it with the other 4 picks. Those are the plays. You got Ramirez. You got Ramirez over total bases, Henderson over total bases, Riley over total bases, and Sanchez over strikeouts. These are your 4 promos for today. If you want to take a look at each one or just one over on props.cash to see how they look, we can do that. Yeah. At some point, if you play all unders, your slip is green, like all green. And then one by one, you just got to sweat it out. That's true. That's a different way to look at it for sure. We're talking about a total base. We're just talking about a hit, you know? So, you know, you would assume that all these plays are in a good spot to go over. Cleveland versus Arizona. We're going to take a look at this Jose Ramirez. Now, Jose Ramirez has an under fantasy prop of 8.5 or 9.5. But we don't care about that because he can actually go over his promo and under fantasy score. That's, I mean, one hit, unless it's a home run or a triple, then he's not going over fantasy score because he got one hit. It's going to take a lot more than that. So we're looking for one hit today for Ramirez. So let's bring this down to 0.5. You can see in his last 5 games, he has an 80% hit rate. In his last 10 games, there's another 80% hit rate. His numbers against Arizona, 5 out of 7 for a 71% hit rate. He is projected for one hit and one total base. Numbers against Eduardo Rodriguez. Listen, 4 singles, 2 homers, and 5 RBIs for a 250 batting average. Now, this is across 25 plate appearances, so probably like 8 games. This is over the span of 8 games. So that's not a very strong batting average. Those numbers look really good, but they're spread out across, a few different seasons. So the numbers look good. He just needs one hit. You would think he can get you one hit. Numbers against lefties, ideally, typically he rakes, right? 36% of the time he's getting a hit. He's getting on base. 370 batting average, basically. Very low strikeout rate against lefties. 20% strikeout rate versus Rodriguez. So 20% of the time he's striking out. If he gets you 5 plate appearances today, he's going to strike out 1 time. And he's going to get 1 hit. That's all you care about is, can he get you 1 hit? So the Ramirez play looks really good. You can definitely build around that. Gunnar over 0.5 bases. Over the last 10 games for Gunnar Henderson, 90% hit rate, 80% hit rate, and then numbers against Toronto, 68% hit rate. He is projected for a hit. He is projected for a total base. Numbers against Chris Bassett, man. Now, this is really impressive because you're talking about an over 400 batting average, over 8 plate appearances. So he's had a lot of success against Bassett, and it's not taking him 4 seasons to get it done. 2 singles, 1 home run, and 5 RBIs. So both of those look good. Just based off BVP and then based off the game logs, that one looks really strong. Austin Riley over total bases. All right, so Austin Riley over total bases. It's gone over this 60% of the time versus Milwaukee. Last 10, 60%. Last 5, 80%. 1 total base equals 1 hit. Numbers against Colin Ray. Only 1 hit. Only one hit in 6 plate appearances, but it was a home run. Obviously, if he hits a home run today, he goes over all his player props. But you don't need him to hit a home run. You just need him to get on base by way of a hit. This is probably my least favorite of the 3, to be honest with you. Just based off what we're seeing here. I would definitely put Ramirez and Gunnar Henderson way above Austin Riley. And I mean, we can even get into a possible demon slip with those 2 guys on PrizePicks since we like their numbers versus the pitchers today. Chris Sanchez over 3.5 strikeouts. His number has been dropped over on BETR. So let's go ahead and make sure that looks the same on props.cash. Last 5 games, not good. Up until this game, man, he was not he was not putting up strong numbers. I mean, honestly, even with this game, he's only averaging 4 strikeouts a game. That is what you need him to get today. Last 10 games, a little better, but outside of that 9 strikeout game, you're not really seeing a whole lot of upside. 5 strikeouts against the Dodgers in a game this season. What, about a month ago? So that's good. I mean, it's recent. Dodgers against Sanchez. You got Ohtani crushing, Hernandez 1 for 3, Pages 1 for 3, and then you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bats in here with no history or bad history. So it's possible that Sanchez can get you 4 strikeouts. I mean, it's not a lot, but we've seen pitchers go out there and just totally tank on their promo. I mean, if I had to rank them, it's Ramirez, it's Gunnar, then it's Riley, or then it's Sanchez, and then it's Riley, in that order. So I like the Gunnar, Henderson, and Ramirez plays the best on those promos. See, what's up, Rosalie? Travis, what's up? Drip. Me too. We're getting a little taste of it with the Olympics, but not the same. Yeah, I mean, whatever slips or whatever plays are available, I've put slips in the Discord. Yesterday, we built out a slip with a few plays. Yeah. Santander, home run. Jesus says, I love strikeout props. Ramirez has a demon strikeout prop. I mean, he is one. What is he? Ramirez was what? 1 for 5 or something like that. 1 for 6, 2 for 6. Yeah. So, all right. So on better, look, I'm gonna go with the Ramirez single. He just needs a hit. He could still strike out up to 2 times, right? I mean, if he gets 4 plate appearances and he strikes out 3 times and gets a single, that's all we care about. He does not have to hit a home run. He does not have to win the game. He just needs to go over his 0.5 single prop. So I think that's a solid one. I don't think I'm going to be touching that Austin Riley one. That was probably the one I didn't like the most. Jerks and Profar under total bases today versus Pittsburgh. Damn. Every once in a while, better will time you out, which is kind of cool because I think they're all about responsible gaming. And did I change my password on here? Oh, okay. Yeah. Hold on. Sorry about this. Are you kidding me? So I'm being kicked out of better right now. I didn't do anything wrong. So I signed up on Better with my Gmail account. However, my PayPal account is attached to my Yahoo account. So when I go to log in, it's got my Gmail. It's got my Gmail pulled up as my email. So now I have to manually go in and type in my Yahoo address. It's a pain in the ass. So when they do finally log me out, it's just this whole like musical chairs going back and forth, which is what I'm doing right now. All right. So where were we? We were going to use the Ramirez over bases. We're going to use the Profar under total bases. Feel free to leave out what you don't like. If I come across a play that I'm playing, You don't have to play it. You can just move off of it. We can literally play the Profar and Bogarts in the same lineup because one is over, one is under. But I don't really like that kind of correlation. Let's see. Vladdy under 1.5 total bases. Let's throw that one in there. We got the Renfro play. We can play the O'Hearn play in this one because we're not using Gunner in this slip. So we can go O'Hearn over hits, runs, and RBIs. That Vladdy play is getting a lot of support. All right, so here's Framber Valdez under 5.5 hits allowed. I'm gonna skip that one. Sonny Gray over 4.5 hits allowed versus Tampa. So that's a possibility. Is there any kind of correlation we can build here? So there's Vladimir Guerrero over strikeouts. That actually would help. That actually makes me feel good about taking the under on his total bases, because if he's striking out, he's obviously not getting on base. Mike Yastrzemski over 0.5 hits. I love these 0.5 hit props. Not because they're locks or anything. There's no such thing as a lock. But it is the lowest number you're gonna see by far, a 0.5 prop. The odds are always favorable for those props because unless you're only gonna get one at bat, you're gonna have 4 or 5 opportunities to get that over. I mean, literally, if at first you don't succeed, try again. I mean, I don't think there's a more upside play than the 0.5 total base prop or the 0.5 hits, runs, and RBI, something like that. Now, the issue with this is typically when you see a 0.5 prop on a player, they're not really doing all that well, which is why their number's been low. So over his last 5 games, 1 out of 5, 4 out of 10. Now his history versus the Nationals, a little better, 3 out of 4 games. No numbers against Mackenzie Gore. Numbers against lefties. I'm looking at the wrong player here. There we go. I don't know why Kirk Caselli's ass was pulled up when I clearly clicked on Mike Yastrzemski. All right, so let's do this over again. Last 5 games, Yastrzemski is 3 out of 5. That looks way better. 7 out of 10. Okay. But his head-to-head is 2 for 6. This is okay because this is not saying that he's 2 for 6 against Mackenzie Gore. It's just against the Nationals. So when we scroll, we can see that he is projected for a hit and a total base. His numbers against Mackenzie are a lot more favorable than I thought. A double, a triple, and an RBI. Let's throw him in there. If he doesn't hit, I can live with that. It's not very often that you get to play the over on a 0.5 base prop or hit prop for a guy that actually has numbers you can feel confident in. Oh man, it's not gonna let me play it. There we go. They just took Jerks and Profar off. So now we have to go back. You usually don't see a lot of line movement on BETR, but anytime you see a green square on BETR, you got to lock that one in because they'll take that shit off the board real fast. All right, let's see. We have Kyle Freeland over 3.5 strikeouts. We have O'Hearn in there. You know what? Let's put Bogarts in there over 1.5. Or Kyle Freeland Kyle Freeland over 3.5 strikeouts. Do y'all want to mess with Kyle Freeland today versus the Mets? Over 3.5 strikeouts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 data points. This is a game that is being played in Coors Field. Kyle Freeland, over his last 5 games, has racked up an average of 6 strikeouts, 5, 9, 4, 8, and 6. Kyle Freeland is projected for 4 strikeouts today. Numbers against the Mets, this was a year ago, 2 years ago, so we don't really care about that. I'm sure the BVP, I was going to say, I'm sure the BVP isn't that bad, but it actually is hugely in favor of the Mets. You got Lindor, Nimmo, Martinez, Alonso, 1 through 4, raking. But you got a 37.5% strikeout rate for Nimmo, and you have a 50% strikeout rate for Alonso. That means he just struck out 1 out of two times. So it's not like he's whiffing every at bat, but 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 4 strikeouts in here, just like we talked about with Paxton yesterday. The matchup on paper didn't look good, but the line was so low. We talked about him getting 4 strikeouts, and that's exactly what he did. So obviously, if the Mets are on top of their shit today, then Kyle Freeland gets waxed. But if he can stay in the game, he's projected to give up 4 earned runs. So over his last 5 games, he's kept the earned runs down and strikeouts up. Now, last 5 home games, he's done a really good job of suppressing runs. He's done a really good job of getting you at least 5 innings in a lot of these games. And his strikeouts have been pretty strong, right? This is what he needs. In these games, how many earned runs did he give up? Not much. So you don't have to play this Kyle Freeland play if you don't want to. I'm going to go with the over on this one. And I can't because they took it off the board. So it may have been a better play than you thought. So, man, we're seeing a lot of line movement on BETR this morning. We normally don't see this much going on with BETR. So we're going to have to make another adjustment. Trey Turner under runs scored. Framber under 5.5 hits allowed. Y'all think Embiid? I took the under Embiid. Was it 15.5 points and rebounds or something like that? Yeah, he hasn't played well at all, man. Yeah, and that's the thing too, JR, is that the rotation, that shit changes. It's like in the NBA, your team is only as good as that rotation, right? So you got your first 8, those are your best players typically. That's as good as your team, right? That's the talent. But like in the Olympics, you just pull a dude off the bench. That's another all-star. Oh, that's a future Hall of Famer. You know, it's just like whatever matchup you can take advantage of. So Anthony Edwards had a huge game. I think the first game of the Olympics, LeBron James came out and had a huge game, but you're not hearing a lot from Booker or Curry. A lot of these dudes they're just there. Tatum ain't doing shit, right? Like it's modest performances. So you just don't know what that rotation is going to look like. And I think Embiid he's struggling in the Olympics. It's not even this year. It's just historically, he just hasn't played ball well overseas like that. So you don't need him out there. Like if the 76ers sat him, that front office would be under fire. You're not playing Embiid. You're paying him all this money, all that stuff. But the Olympics has nothing to do with that. They just want to win the gold. All right, I got to pick a play here. Man, I'm pissed off about that Kyle Freeland play. Colton Cowser, here's another Oriole bat that's getting some love. Brian Bello, under 2.5 earned runs. Here's another 0.5 base hit. Here's Jordan over his hits, runs, and RBIs. Could have used that yesterday. Could have used that home run yesterday. All right, I'm going to go with this Trey Turner under runs. Based off the numbers here, it is presenting as a plus play. Not a plus EV play, but it is presenting well. In terms of data points, and I don't want to dig too deeply into this because I don't want to lose the plays that we have on the board. So what happened here? I swear to God, like every time I go to hit submit, something gets removed. So here's what I have left: Ramirez, Guerrero, Yastrzemski, and Turner. So I think it was O'Hearn. They got taken off the board. This is how it is, man. This is how it is. Trying to build slips live. This is how it goes. Renfroe. Was it Renfroe that got taken off the board? He's on the optimizer. Nah, he's there. Okay. So man, that was a pain in the ass. I'm not gonna lie. That was a pain in the ass. All right, this stream would not be complete if I didn't attempt to build out a slip on PrizePicks or Underdog. So whichever presents the best value, that's what I'm rolling with here. But I will post the link to the better slip in the chat. Yesterday, again, our better slip went 4 for 5. Willie Castro was the only play that did not work for us. So hopefully we get a similar result today, if not a better result. Appreciate y'all being here. Hit the like button on your way in or out. Somebody just left. That's cool. All right. Let's give it one more shot. What do we have on PrizePicks? Is the Taco up? Probably not. Taco MLB and what? Tennis? Esports? All right. Grayson under 6 strikeouts versus Toronto. We got Ramirez under fantasy score. Who was taking the over on his strikeouts? Somebody said that they wanted to take the over on Ramirez's strikeouts. His strikeouts today versus the Diamondbacks are in play. It's been lively on the mound today for the Diamondbacks. Or no, I'm sorry. That's Cleveland. My bad. Jose Ramirez. So his numbers against Rodriguez: 25 plate appearances and 6 hits, 4 singles and 2 home runs. Yes, the power is there, but his strikeouts at 20%. So that's one strikeout every 5 at-bats. So we don't need him to hit a home run to go over his promo on BETR, but if you wanted to take the over on fantasy score, you would need that home run. His strikeouts at 0.5. So this is a little contradicting, and it's not exactly positive correlation when you think about it, because if you wanted to go, if you're taking the over on his strikeouts, that's taking one opportunity away from him to get a hit. But if he's going to get you 5 hits or 5 at-bats, and the numbers, the odds show that he's striking out once every 5 at-bats against Rodriguez, then that's the kind of shit that's just going to happen, right? But within the 5 at-bats, he should get a hit. So you can play both. It's also a demon play, so you're able to capitalize on the watch Burger hit a home run today. You're able to capitalize on the payout boost. So that's in play. So on BETR, I wanted to take the over Kyle Freeland for 3.5 strikeouts. On PrizePicks, they bumped it up to 4, and now the under is in play. Obviously, if he goes under 4, he has to hit 3 or less, or he can push it with 4. So it's tempting, but I think I'm going to hold off on that one. We're getting into some red territory here. Dylan Brooks over 1.5 threes made. Dylan Brooks over 1.5 threes made. BetMGM at 140, Bovado 130, and 160 on HOTSTREAK. Dylan Brooks over 1.5 threes made. I'm not going to lie. I am very interested in that one. I think I'm going to put that Dylan Brooks in. I love how they have Olympic basketball separate from the Olympics. Even during the Olympics, basketball has its own platform, man. Like, don't lump us in with all that other shit. All right, well, no Dylan Brooks available to us. So, why is he on the board if he's not on PrizePicks? Any of these other 3-point props look good? Like going under on Devin Booker's threes. That's another example of just embarrassment of riches on the U.S. team. I mean, you got guys like Devin Booker that aren't even like scratching the surface, to be honest with you. The talent level is ridiculous. Jaren Duran should have a great game. I took his fantasy. Can't wait for a WNBA to return in the NFL, baby. Regular season, because the preseason. Preseason is really difficult. If you're making money on the preseason, you are really good, because that shit's tough, man. It's real tough. If you know anybody making money on the preseason, that's not easy to do. Like, they're just really good at what they do. If they're player propping it or DFSing it or whatever they're doing, it's tough, man. NFL preseason is a crapshoot. So yesterday we talked about the over Jaren Duran double demon play, and that did hit for us. Today, Jaren Duran has a matchup with your mama. Where's Jaren Duran? With Seth Lugo. Okay, so literally his only hit against Lugo is a double. We talked about the matchup earlier that Lugo presents. It's a tough matchup because Lugo just doesn't give up power. But over the course of the season, he has allowed 22 doubles and 12 doubles against lefties like Duran. In fact, his batting average allowed to lefties is higher. It's not great. I mean, dude, if you're allowing 238, that's your highest bat. That's really good. Batting 238 in the major leagues will get you sent down to the minor leagues. Like, that's not a good average. The fact that that shit's green shows you how great his average is against righties. So it's not like he's getting lit up by lefties. It's slightly better, but it doesn't mean that he's just going to get waxed. Jaren Duran can score points in a bunch of different ways. So if Jaren Duran happens to get on base with a single, stolen base upside is there for him. I hate when these graphs don't show. So even though the graphs aren't showing, apologies for that. Jaren Duran has stolen 3 bases in his last 5 games, 4 bases in his last 10, but just 1 base head-to-head with the Royals. Home runs-wise, Duran is 1 for 5 in his last 5, 1 out of his last 10, 0 home runs in 8 games versus the Royals. In his last 5 games, Duran has gone over his hits, runs, and RBIs. He's averaging 3 in his last 5, 80% hit rate, 60% hit rate, averaging 3, averaging 2, 50% hit rate. The numbers look good across the board for Jaren Duran. So, yeah, you can definitely look to a double again for a demon play. You can even look to the over on his fantasy score. Stolen base upside in his last 5 and 10 games is there, but numbers against the Royals don't look good. That's okay. There are a bunch of different ways for him to score. He doesn't have to do it at the plate. Always at the plate. All right, so in this current lineup, we had 4 plays. I need a couple more here to piece this together on PrizePicks. We're just not getting a lot of not getting a lot of support. So far, Jack Draper under his total games, Devers over his runs and RBIs, Ramirez over strikeouts, Booker under 3s. That's a 4 pick right there. Because of the payout boost with the strikeouts, this is typically a 5x. If you flexed it, it's now a 7x. So it does make it a bit more profitable. If you rolled with the power play on this one, you're getting an 11.5x. I don't like those payouts. I really want to put one more play in here. Juan Soto under his fantasy score. Listen, I know it's Juan Soto, but I'm going to look into this one. Man, with fantasy score, this dude is projected for 3 hits, runs, and RBIs. A walk, that's 2. A run, that's 2, 4, 6. A single, that's 8 fantasy points. No numbers against Davis Daniel. In fact, this is his first time seeing the Yankees. Nah, I'm gonna stay away from that one. I don't like that one. No thanks. No thank you. Curry points and go over Ramirez bases. Is it a good matchup? Also look at Wemby's points. On the PrizePicks mobile app, we can pull up the Olympic men's basketball stats. But on the desktop version, I'm not sure why it's not showing. Curry's points sitting at 12.5, minus 130 to go over. 11 against Serbia, 3 against South Sudan, and then 8 against what is PUR? Who did they just play? PUR? It's not Peru, is it? Yeah, there's no projections or anything for these guys because it's the Olympics. There's really no sample size. So you look at the last 3 games, Curry is basically playing 20 minutes in the last 3 games. He's averaging 7 points. He's averaging 7 shot attempts. 6'3". Oh, Puerto Rico. Peru. Well, it has it as PUR. I would when I think of Puerto Rico, I think of PR. PUR. I was like, Purdue? They played Purdue in the Olympics? Purdue has their own Olympic basketball team. Puerto Rico. All right. That's on props.cash. They need to abbreviate that better. Come on, man. Yeah, these odds on Curry's points are they're pretty good. I mean, minus 130 to go over. I'm sure it's not a plus EV play, but I want to just search Steph Curry on OddsJam and see what books are taking action on his plays, on his props, because he hasn't gone over this yet. The only thing that worries me about these games is that minutes get cut, and it's like it's not that big a deal because you got another guy that can step up. It's just a talent show at this point for the US. All right, here's Steph. We got Steph going over 13 points on PrizePicks. Is where all his lines are so low. Like if you want to play the over on Steph Curry, I mean, damn, look, Bovada, Fliff has it at 11. And these are way too low. PrizePicks has it at 13, which is kind of like right there in the middle. $19 PRA for Steph Curry. I like the under on that one, actually. This is kind of what I was looking at. I'm not gonna listen. I don't really like anything on PrizePicks. I'm not gonna submit this slip. When the taco gets dropped and these plays are still up here, I'll put the taco in there. But I'm just really not feeling PrizePicks at all today. But Jack Draper under, Devers over, Ramirez over strikeouts, Book under 1.5. You can put Curry in there at 13. You could also go under on his rebounds and assists. The rebounds and assists or the PRA is a little stronger of a play, but I just feel like in the Olympics, everything is kind of like up for grabs. But those are 5 possible plays we can put in. What? Last look on the underdog. Tomato, tomate, tomate, two mates. Man, a lot of single plays. I gotta be honest, man. Better's the site this morning. Better has the best value. Better has the best promos right now. I mean, I can build out probably 5 more plays, 5 more slips on Better with what we had to work with compared to PrizePicks and underdogs. It's just not popping, man. I think one of the biggest things I've learned in the last year in doing these streams and videos and trying to profit is being okay when there's just no value. Instead of trying to force something, there's no need to do it. There's 24 hours in a day. I guarantee you 2 hours, 3 hours from now, these boards will look a lot different. Plays will be put up that aren't up there now, but I'm learning to just like hold on to my money sometimes. There's just not a whole lot, guys. I'm sorry about this. Not my fault, but I'm definitely not going to force a play and put shitty slips out there. And then when they don't hit, then everybody's like, man, that play sucked. So listen, if you want to play these pitcher fantasy scores, you got quite a few up here on the board. Cease under pitcher fantasy score. You got Valdez under. Those 2 are on PrizePicks and underdog. CJ Abrams under 2 hits, runs, and RBIs. That's getting some support across the industry. If you're wondering why I'm not really looking at these esport plays, is because there's no true line set. You only have 2 books taking action on it. You have HOTSTREAK and underdog. Both of these are so different. So that's telling you that nobody knows where to put this line. So it's a little up for grabs right now. If you want to middle it, you would play it on underdog and HOTSTREAK and just hope it lands in the middle and you can win both, or you'll win one over the other. But plays like this with just 1 data point, you got to wait until multiple books take action on it in order for you to see the true value in it. If you're not seeing true value in a play, you're just really guessing. So if you want to guess, then you got a lot of plays. Also on underdog, you just can't play more than 1 player from the same game. They will not let you correlate. They will lessen your payout, or they will not let you submit the slip. So you have to pick and choose. You start seeing some of these guys from the same game, got to pick and choose, or you got to make more slips to include all of them. All right, so the 1 slip that we did build out today was on Better. That link is in the chat. If you want to tell that, go ahead. We use the Ramirez promo over 0.5 total bases to complete that. Once the WNBA returns, how many more games are left in the season? Does anybody know? I guess I could just look that up, but I didn't know if anybody on the chat knew, about that. What about this? What about if we put in this no run first inning for the Giants and Washington. What about that? That gives us a 6 pick on PrizePicks. What we can also do is check out the Nerfy matchup here and see what that looks like for us on paper. You got Birdsong and Mackenzie Gore. Ooh, minus 102 to go under and minus 125 to go over. Maybe not. Although when we look at this on OddsJam, you got a ton of data points here. Wow, Bovada is giving you 1.5 on the first run, no inning. Why would you not take the under on that one? 1.5? What am I missing? That's really high for a first run, for a first inning. Dylan Cease under strikeouts. Remember the last time we took the under on Dylan Cease? He went out there and pitched a complete game shutout. Do y'all want to roll with the Dylan Cease prop, Castillo prop, or Valdez for the 6th play in this 6 pick over on PrizePicks? Or do you want to leave this no run first inning up as our 6th play? We got Curry over, Devin under, Ramirez over his strikeouts, and Devers over his hits, runs, and RBIs. What was it? Jackson Churio, what was his line? What do we hits, runs, and RBIs? Damn, Jackson Holiday, Jackson Merrill, Jackson. We need 2 more Jacksons to make a 5. Why is it still pulling up Jackson Merrill? All right. Hits, runs, and RBIs for this dude. 1.5. Matchup today. Yeah. Matchup with Bryce Elder. 0 for 3 against Elder. BVP as a team. Terrain, okay. Hoskins, Mitchell, Churio. No strikeouts. So 0 for 3, but no strikeouts. Today he has a projection of 1.7. You have only 2 books taking action on this. So that's keeping his plus EV down because not many books are on this one. Okay. LeBron James promo on underdog 9.5 points and over 8.5. Dylan Cease over 5 strikeouts. I'm definitely building a slip out with that. Okay. So Jackson Churio versus right-handed pitching on the year, 11 homers, 270 batting average. Elder versus right-handed bats, allowing a 258 batting average, a little low. Not much power on this one. You're looking for Churio to get 2 hits, runs, and RBIs today. He should have enough plate appearances to get it done. Yeah, I mean, you can throw Churio in there. I wish we had more. I wish we had more data points on this one. I just wish we had more books taking action on it. It does worry me a little bit. Like if it were a, I mean, if it were a strong play, you'd see the stronger play, the more books you would see, basically. So I would like to see a few more books on that one. But if you wanted to play the over on assist runs and RBIs in your slip, I mean, you do have a lot of, you got good game logs here. You got strong projections. You don't have the history versus Elder that you want, and you aren't getting a strong matchup because Elder has done a great job at keeping power down and minimizing average. It is a little riskier just because the matchup with Elder. He should see Elder for what, 2 of his 5 at-bats or 2 of his 4 at-bats, something like that. So once Elder is gone, whatever reliever they bring in could present a better matchup. Tyler Mahle, we got to go back. Last 5 games, he has not pitched all season. Tyler Mahle just popped up on the board. There he is. Under 4.5 strikeouts. These games don't mean anything. These are from last season. He has not pitched this season. He is projected for 4 strikeouts versus the Astros, who bring in one of the lowest strikeout rates to right-handed pitching. I don't expect him to pitch very deep into this game. If this is his first start of the year, I'm sure he's got some warm-up shit in AAA and he's been on assignment, but it's not the best matchup to come back to against the Astros. I'm willing to take a shot on the under 4.5 strikeouts for Tyler Mahle. It's 4.5 on PrizePicks, so I'm willing to take a shot on that one. I think that one is okay. And they took it off the board, so never mind. There it is. I selected this one, and then it didn't get added to the. So I'm trying to get rid of this, and I'm trying to add that one. There you go. I'm just going to submit this one. If you don't want to tell this one, I completely understand. It took us almost an hour to build this shit out. Things kept bumping and changing. And honestly, PrizePicks just isn't giving you a ton to work with. At least I don't think they're giving us a ton to work with. So we just pieced this one together. If this one happens to hit, this was a collective effort from all of us, just kind of giving our 2 cents. But here's what we ended up with. Mahle under 4.5 strikeouts, Curry over points, Book under 3s, Ramirez over 0.5 strikeouts, Devers over hits, runs, and RBIs, and Jack Draper under 22.5 total games. It was a that was a beast. That was a beast to build. So there's the link. If you want to tell it, be my guest. If you don't, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. That one, I honestly did not like the process. It was too shaky, but I'm definitely not going to put a slip out there that is just a bunch of guesses and I thinks. I want as much information as I can get, and if I don't have the information, then I'll just save it for another slip, to be honest with you. All right, last look at underdog, and then we're going to get out of here. Sonny Gray over 6.5 strikeouts. That one is popping. You want to start off an underdog slip with Sonny Gray over 6.5 strikeouts versus the Rays. That's a good first a good first leg of your slip. See if we can give you a few more underdog plays on the way out. We can come over to the sports betting tab that OddsJam offers on the mobile app and the desktop app. You can find a few more plays. Luis Arias under 1.5 total bases. There's Tyler Mahle under 4.5 strikeouts. We did get that one in on PrizePicks. Dylan Brooks, we saw the over on his threes at 1.5, and it wasn't available to us on PrizePicks. HOTSTREAK has the under at plus 106. So with HOTSTREAK, you can alter the line. So you're never going to get true lines on HOTSTREAK. They do allow you, like Sleeper allows you to like pick the number you want. So that will adjust the odds. But those are the top 3 plays on the betting tab. All right, we built out 2 slips. One on PrizePicks. We built out one on one on PrizePicks and one on BETR. And that's going to do it today. Hopefully our slips yield us some profit. Yesterday we built out 3 slips: PrizePicks, underdog, and BETR. And 2 of them did profit. 2 of them did hit. So looking for similar or better results today. Appreciate y'all being here. Hit the like button on your way out. Means a ton. Consider subbing up to the channel. If you are not already subbed up, make sure your notification bell is turned on so you don't miss out on future content like tomorrow's Player Prop Talk live stream at 9 a.m. We start at 9 a.m. So you want to get here early and chill out in the chat, you can. But 9 a.m. to typically 10. Today we went a little longer, 10:30. But this is when I'm on. This is when I'm live, and this is when we build out slips. So again, appreciate y'all being here. Hope all your slips work out for you today. We got Taco Tuesday ahead of us, so keep your eyes on that. And also remember your promos on BETR. If you haven't used your promos on BETR, or if you haven't signed up on BETR, all that information, you can sign up using my code in the chat. Sign up and take advantage of those free plays on BETR. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Player Prop Talk live stream. And until tomorrow's live stream, Chavez is out.